this is Bhavna and you're watching India Today. Today I'm joined by the cast of Who's Your Gynac, and I'm very excited because I love the trailer so much. So I have Saba, Kunal and Karishma right here. Firstly, a huge welcome.
Thank you.
Like I mentioned, I felt that it's a mad riot that is going on within that narrative. Also, you're talking about a subject which is actually sensitive, but in humor, and that is my most favorite brand of genre, because I feel that if you can give out a message in the form of laughter, there's nothing like it. But that also makes me believe that it was a lot of fun shooting it on set as well. So tell me firstly, if there's one moment that you realize that, oh my God, this is, you signed in thinking of it as something, and then you realize that, oh my God, this is much more than what I thought it could be. Was there a moment like that on set?
I think the script itself was so, when you, on paper itself, it was a riot. So we were all actually, I think I'll speak for myself, we were all kind of expecting it to be a riot, and it didn't disappoint at all. It was mad fun, and of course it was a marathon shoot, because there was so much to shoot, and we kind of went for it like, back to back. It was like a single schedule. But my God, it was nuts. And I also think it was, like you said, comedy is such a great genre for saying things that have gravitas and things that are important. And you can say heavy things, but lightly, and the message hits home.
But that is also very difficult. We are saying it as it is seamless, but to combine both of these genres in a story like this, in a narrative like this, is not easy. So when a script like this comes to you, how do you look at it? Because on paper it might sound hilarious, but in execution it might not be as hilarious. So how do you know that, okay, this is the right script to go by? Like, is it your gut feeling? Do you speak to people? How do you decide, okay, I want to say yes to this?
A lot of the stuff that TVF does is already sort of tested and tried in their office itself, and they have people from all walks of life working from them and from all parts of the states in India. And कोई चीज़ अगर वर्क नहीं कर रही तो वो उधर ही चेंज हो जाती है, ठीक है? हम तक जब तक पहुंचती है हम अपना फ्लेवर डाल सकते हैं अगर उसमें रूम है तो, क्योंकि रिलेटेबिलिटी वाइज हो या राइटिंग वाइज हो बहुत अच्छा दिखते हैं वो लोग. मतलब इट जस्ट कनेक्ट्स विद द ऑडियंस राइट अवे.
बट हाउ इम्पोर्टेंट, करिश्मा, आपके लिए कितना इम्पोर्टेंट होता है कि जो कैरेक्टर आपके पास आ रहा है या आपके लिए लिखा जा रहा है उससे आप पर्सनली भी एक हद तक कनेक्ट करें? क्योंकि कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि यू कैन नॉट रिलेट एट ऑल, या समटाइम्स इट्स लिटरली अ रेप्लिका ऑफ हाउ यू आर इन रियल पर्सन. सो हाउ इम्पोर्टेंट इज दैट फॉर यू?
सो फॉर मी कैरेक्टर इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, बट ओवरऑल स्टोरी भी इंपॉर्टेंट होती है कि एक स्टोरी किस तरीके से है, क्या कहानी है और मेरा क्या कंट्रीब्यूशन है उसके अंदर. सो आई सी द ओवरऑल पिक्चर ऑफ द स्टोरी और ये लोगों तक कैसे पहुंच रही है. सो इफ आई स्पीक अबाउट माई कैरेक्टर, आई वॉज वेरी एक्साइटेड अबाउट द कैरेक्टर बिकॉज बहुत रिलेटेबल है. इसमें जितने भी आप एपिसोड्स देखोगे वो सारे बहुत रिलेटेबल है. Of course, you discuss the story with your partner or with your friends कि this is the story. What do you think about it? तो उनके भी एक व्यूज मिलते हैं. बाकी डिसीजन तो आपने दिमाग में बना ही लिया होता है
कि हाँ, ये
आप बस एक वैलिडेशन के लिए अपने दोस्तों से मन में आपको होता है कि हाँ यार दिस इज द राइट थिंग, बट यू स्टिल टॉक टू योर फ्रेंड्स, यू डिस्कस विद योर मम्मी पापा या किसी से भी आप डिस्कस करते हो. बट आई वॉज वेरी एक्साइटेड बिकॉज इट्स अ वेरी आई थिंक अनुया, द राइटर अनुया, Girish and Prerna, who were involved in writing the story and creating the whole thing, have done a brilliant job. And Himali as a director, she's directed everything very beautifully. So kudos to the team. And I think script बहुत amazing है. So I think इसको you don't deny to such scripts because the story is the powerhouse.
And also that scene in the trailer where the person is unable to say sex and you're just like, हाँ और क्या, or can you just call it sex? And I know of so many instances within the family, maybe extended family, where they would not be able, because it's still a taboo, how much ever we say. Was there something that you realized, or for us who have lived or who have been born and brought up in an urban setting, it's okay, we have heard this enough to be okay, but there's a cultural shock element which comes with people from small town especially. So when you were going through this script, were there certain revelations that you also had? Because you might find it bizarre. You're like, as a person who have been brought up in an urban setting, you'd be like, but ye to normal hai na. but then you realize that maybe it's not.
So I'll be honest. I think हमारे urban settings के लिए भी ये normal नहीं है. अभी भी हम ये dinner table conversation नहीं है. तो हम अपने माँ बाप के साथ इतना openly sex के बारे में बात नहीं करते हैं. You know, yes, with our friends and our peers and you know our partners, of course we talk about it and it's a safe space. But with the parents, अगर हम TV देख रहे हैं तो हम channel बदल देते हैं.
That's so
you know,
true.
and everybody does it. It's an awkward thing. And I think इस शो की पहल एक ये रहेगी कि हम ये बदलें, कि हम वो awkwardness निकाल दें इसमें से, कि you know कि हम क्यों नहीं बात कर रहे हैं. Sex is like breathing. It's like eating. It's and reproductive health, female reproductive health is important and must be spoken about because a lot of women suffer out of the lack of not talking about it and for it being taboo. उनको मतलब दर्द हो रहा है, वो जा नहीं रही है डॉक्टर के पास क्योंकि कैसे बोलें, कैसे समझाएं, कहाँ और क्यों हो रहा है. तो ऐसी चीजों के एंड वो बहुत डेंजरस हो सकता है. आई थिंक जितना हम इसके बारे में खुल के बात करेंगे उतना बेहतर है. And I think that was one of the most enticing things about the script.
I agree. I'll come to Karishma because women health and it's still a taboo in most part of the country where we still feel awkward talking about it. To have a full-fledged script based on that, were there any apprehensions at all? Maybe not from your side, but sometimes we say no also thinking कि अरे बाकी family members क्या कहेंगे? Would it be awkward for them? Did that thought ever cross your mind?
Yes, it did because आई डोंट नो, मम्मी पापा तक ठीक है लेकिन फैमिली फिर पूरी फैमिली है ना. तो आपको सोचना पड़ता है. बट वंस सो जैसे मैंने मम्मी पापा के साथ डिस्कस किया कुछ भी था, आई न्यू आई वांटेड टू डू दिस स्क्रिप्ट एंड आई वाज वेरी कंफर्टेबल. और बात यही है कि हमें जड़ तक चीज़ों को पहुंचाना है और हम एज एन एक्टर्स हमारी एक ही तो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कि हम जो भी हम अपना काम करें उससे या तो किसी को बेनिफिट हो या कुछ तो चेंज आए. सो आई थिंक अगर वो हम खुद को उस पोजीशन में नहीं डालेंगे तो फिर चेंज कैसे आएगा. एक छोटी सी पावर है हमारे पास कि जो भी हम सिनेमा करें उस सिनेमा से अगर किसी को हेल्प हो सकती है, किसी को बेनिफिट या किसी के शिफ्ट आ सकता है दिमाग के अंदर, तो व्हाई नॉट. तो डाउट्स आते हैं बट डाउट्स आने भी जरूरी है क्योंकि आपको लगता है अब आप सही काम कर रहे हो.
True.
डर लगता है ना, तो डर में आपको पता है कि अगर आपको
it's a good nervous
it's good to feel little scared and but आप ओवरऑल पिक्चर देखोगे it is not just reaching to your family, it is reaching to families all across.
True, and that is the major agenda is that eventually. Kunal, when you're part of a script which is heavily dependent and is talking about women issues, I know a lot of actors won't be comfortable doing it because also it's taking forward a woman's narrative technically in broader aspect. That means that you have to weigh the pros and cons. What is it giving? Eventually you want to be a part of the script which also benefits your career, right? So what do you, in this script in particular, if I may ask, what appealed to you that you were like, okay, I want to be a part of this script?
Woman, as you said, I'm at the forefront of this, always have been through and through my life. But I look at it as a more human, with a human perspective. Men and women are the same. We've got a bunch of issues, women have got a bunch of issues, and they need to be addressed. They need to be spoken about very,
shared.
very... And shared. People should know about it. People should know. That's how people recover from anything that they're going through in their life.
True.
Or at least help understand what they're going through. It's very important to be heard. कई सारी चीजें जो हैं रह जाती हैं अंदर, and then they shape you that way.
Yeah, true.
But if you have, I think a human being, that's all they want. They want to be heard.
Yeah, and thankfully a lot more conversation is happening around the fact that we need to be heard eventually.
Of course.
Thanks to, social media and a lot of other aspects. But Saba, I was just tracking that you started off way early. And in the midst, of course, you have not limited yourself to being just an actor or a singer or one, limit yourself personally, right? You've done everything. But I feel that you're getting your sort of recognition or the kind of work that you want to be part of in the commercial aspect perhaps now. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you also feel that?
You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. I think मैंने ये पहले भी कहा था कि as an actor you're at the mercy of someone else's imagination because someone else has to imagine you as a character and say अच्छा इसको cast करते हैं. तो I think मेरे career के शुरुआत में मुझे सिर्फ college rom-coms मिल रहे थे और मुझे I think after some time उसमें interest नहीं था. और थैंकफुली मेरे पास प्लेबैक सिंगिंग था, मेरे पास थिएटर था, मेरे पास मेरे 2 बैंड्स हैं, तो वो था, तो मैं बहुत खुश थी और मैं आई वाज अर्निंग माय मनी, आई वाज रियली हैप्पी. पर I think yeah, you're absolutely right. Lockdown के time पे पता नहीं सबको याद आ गया कि मैं actor भी हूँ. It was suddenly in lockdown, and also I started getting work that I could relate to.
Yeah.
Because I honestly at some point I was like मुझे नहीं करनी है rom-coms. When you can imagine me something else, I'll act.
True.
And theatre was there to scratch my acting itch.
Yeah.
So I wasn't feeling like मैं acting नहीं कर रही हूँ. So yeah, so and I was continually doing web work and and short films and stuff, but nothing like
more commercial.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think this is a second coming for me, and it's all thanks to lockdown. The lockdown happened, and suddenly it was like Rocket Boys happened.
Yeah.
I was cast within the first couple of months of the lockdown for Rocket Boys, and that was that. And then of course it took us forever to to shoot it and for it to be out, but. Yeah, it's been a transitional kind of phase for me.
Are you now getting the kind of offers that you were waiting for? Because these are just few of them, but I'm sure you want to do and experiment a lot more.
Yeah, so I mean, I have to say the kind of work I'm doing now, I have 2 films in post right now and another show that I've done in post. They're all so different.
Yeah.
And they are allowing me to actually, explore my craft.
Thankfully.
And I'm so thankful for it. I'm so thankful. I'm really, really thankful.
Since you mentioned Rocket Boys, before I move, I have to also ask, Jim has been nominated for Emmy.
Yes, I know
And
he has.
so, I mean, it's so cool, right?
It's amazing. It's amazing. Very, very excited.
But Kunal, I sometimes feel that actors are victim of their own typecast. Like sometimes you do a certain kind of work because that is coming to you, and then industry आपको उसी वजह से typecast कर देती है. Especially the reason why I'm asking you this is also because you have a TV background. I mean, you have worked for a bit, right?
I'll tell you about that. There was a bit of a stint that I did for 12 days somewhere very close to the lockdown, because बात ये है ना that I'm a firm believer of not dissing work.
Correct.
Whether it be any kind,
Any platform,
right?
yeah.
हर प्लेटफॉर्म को, हर प्रोड्यूसर को उतनी ही रिस्पेक्ट और उतना ही प्यार देता हूँ मैं, क्योंकि that's just the way I
Has it worked against you? Because it can.
It can, but to have a taste of everything, to understand what you want to do is also important.
True.
अगर मैंने वो 12 दिन टीवी के लिए शूट नहीं किए होते तो मुझे प्रोसेस ही नहीं समझ आता. जो लोग बोल रहे हैं मैं फिर में हाँ मिला रहा होता, पर आफ्टर हैविंग अ टेस्ट फॉर इट आई न्यू कि अच्छा ये है. तो दैट वाज माय एक्सपीरियंस विद टीवी. मुझे समझ आया कि एग्जैक्टली होता क्या है, कैसे बैंक बनता है वगैरह वगैरह.
Only 12 days.
Only 12 days.
अरे
Only 12 days. फिर लॉकडाउन हो गया, so I was like, okay, cool. This is a sign. Let's just calm and collect ourselves together and see what is it that I need to do.
But as an actor, this is actually to all of you. As an actor, how frustrating that wait can be, because between your one project to another, to get the right kind of project and to be a part of it can be frustrating also, because आपने एक तरीके का किया तो people will just sometimes bombard you with similar kind of roles because they feel that she'll be great at this or he'll be great at that. Now you don't want to do that. Like it happened with you. rom-com ही आ रहे थे. Frustrating हो सकता है वो time. How do you deal with that?
पगला जाती है अगर मेरे पास म्यूजिक नहीं होता.
Yeah.
I would have lost it, because it's like at some point you're like, there's more to me. I don't want to be a heroine in a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating.
How did you, perhaps back in the day, how did you deal with it? Apart from music, it came as a rescue point for you, but were there still days, because you are an actor also, you want to explore that side?
Yeah.
Were there days where you felt like, "Arey, ye hote reh gaya," and you were like, "Oh."
No, I think because of theatre, I was, because I'm a theatre child, so I grew up doing theatre. So for me, that's my beginning, and that is also my playground.
Correct.
So thankfully, theatre kept me
sane and kept me going,
sane and satisfied. But yeah, of course, you want to do different mediums, or उस वक्त you get angry and frustrated होता है. Yeah.
Kunal, what about you?
देखो 2019 में कबीर सिंह रिलीज हुई थी, उसे काफी टाइम हो गया. हाँ. और अभी तक मैं 4 शोज खत्म कर चुका हूँ. दिस वाज द लास्ट वन आई डिड. अब आप देखो, ताज्जुब की बात ये है कि ये सबसे पहले रिलीज हुआ है. ठीक है, तो अभी तक जो जितना किया है चारों में, पूरी कोशिश की है मैंने. फिजिकलिटी से लेके, वॉइस से लेके, एटीट्यूड से लेके, जो अंदर चल रहा है वो सब मैंने चारों में अलग ही किया है. तो टाइपकास्ट होने का तो सवाल ही नहीं आता. पर जब मैं कास्टिंग डायरेक्टर्स जब अप्रोच करते हैं, टेस्ट वगैरह आते हैं, तो एक ढांचा है जिसमें मैं डायरेक्टली ऐसे फिट हो जाता हूँ. वो है रिच बॉय ब्रांड. अमीर बाप का बिगड़ैल बेटा. उसमें मैं फिट हो जाता हूँ एंड आई एम लाइक भाई मेरे अंदर की जो अच्छाई है, इंसानियत है, वो उसका प्रदर्शन करना चाहता हूँ. फिर भले भेजो जितने ग्रे कैरेक्टर्स, डार्क कैरेक्टर्स, मुझे आई एम रेडी टू प्ले, बट वो दिखाने तो दो.
I'm dying to play dark and grey characters. What are you saying?
For me the other way around.
मुझे प्लीज डार्क
No, because I can understand. एक तो दाढ़ी वगैरह है. It just
शो में मैं
fits
ऐसा नहीं हूँ, ये कुछ और ही है मतलब.
No, I think that's the dhacha that you're talking about. For most people, that is what it is. But is it difficult to say no then when you get the same kind? Because जितना आप ना बोलोगे उतना भी perception बन जाता है.
It's very important to say no when you have to, पर आपको अपनी खुद की जाती जिंदगी से पता कर लेना चाहिए कि आप कहाँ कितने पानी में हो. इस वक्त आपको पैसे की जरूरत है तो you do it for the money. You have to just weigh your options.
Correct.
अगर रोल में अगर वर्बोज अच्छे खासे हैं, बात करने को बहुत अच्छा मिलेगा, अपना पॉइंट प्रूव करने का अच्छा मिलेगा, कोई कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है जो एक आर्क है, कहीं स्टोरी लाइन है अपनी खुद की ही क्यों ना हो, क्योंकि हर किरदार जो है अपनी कहानी का हीरो ही होता है वो, चाहे वो मेन लीड हो या ना हो. अगर आप कोई मैसेज पहुंचाना चाह रहे हो और वो पहुंच पा रहा है आपके किरदार से, तो नथिंग लाइक इट.
That's really well said. कि some as actors, some jobs you do for love, and some you do for money, because we also have to put food on our tables. And at some point, you don't have the choice, and you have to say yes. So not everything is like a whimsical. अच्छा मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा मैं. Sometimes it's like okay, it's 60% there, and the 40% I will have to convince myself that this is important because I have to put food on my table.
Before I come to Karishma, have you done that in your career span?
Yes, absolutely, I've done that. Yes, absolutely, I've done that. I will not name the projects I've done that.
I'm sure. I'm not asking.
Yeah, but I have done that, and I think I'm not ashamed of it at all, because I live alone in a city where I've pretty much taken care of myself since the age of 18 on my own. And I have to put food on my table. And that's that. That's the end of it.
True.
Yeah.
What about you, Karishma?
आई थिंक दोनों ने बहुत अच्छे से बातों को समराइज कर दिया है सारी बातों से, लेकिन आई थिंक मेरा एक छोटा सा नज़रिया अब थोड़ा जाके बदला है कि सपोज आपको सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ रोल्स मिल रहे हैं, मान लो एक कैटेगरी में अगर कुणाल फिट हो रहा है, ये कुछ हद तक काम करता है कि अब हर एक ब्रैट तो एक जैसा नहीं होता ना.
You bring different. हाँ.
तो यहाँ थोड़ी सी मेहनत, आई नो आप फ्रस्ट्रेट हो जाते हो कि मुझे अब लेकिन खाना भी चाहिए, घर भी चलाना है, रेंट भी कर, सब कुछ करना है, सारे काम करने हैं और कैरेक्टर्स भी वैसे आ रहे हैं. तो आई थिंक अगर आपको उस तरह के, I'm not advising anybody, but I've started thinking that way also कि if I'm getting a certain kind of character which has a repetitive traits, मैं अपना क्या हर एक एलिमेंट में चेंज कर सकती हूँ.
True.
अब चाहे वो बालों से करूँ, चाहे वो बातों से करूँ, चाहे अपने फिजिक कैसे भी करूँ, ब्रैट हूँ लेकिन 100 तरह का ब्रैट बन सकती हूँ. अब वो मेरे ऊपर चैलेंज है कि मैं कैसे करती हूँ, लेकिन हाँ कुछ टाइम तक वो एक हद तक फ्रस्ट्रेटिंग हो जाता है. एंड वी रियली क्रेव फॉर कैरेक्टर्स विच हमें लगता है कि हम सिर्फ ये नहीं है, हम इससे और भी हैं, मुझे हमेशा ऐसे कैरेक्टर्स नहीं करने हैं. तो आई थिंक मेरा पर्सपेक्टिव थोड़ा ब्रॉड हो गया है, बट ऑफ कोर्स मेरे लिए स्टोरी बहुत मैटर करती है और मैं कैसे लोगों को एंगेज कर सकती हूँ. एंड yeah, I mean it's,
and I feel right now is the best time to be an actor, because while there might be times when you will get repetitive roles, but at the same time there's just so much to do that you can still do what you want, and घर भी चल रहा है और साथ पे क्रिएटिव सेटिस्फैक्शन भी मिल रहा है.
सारी चीजें पर एक साथ नहीं हो सकती. जैसे आई एम सॉरी टू कट यू, बट जैसे सबा का भी उसने कहा कि स्टार्टिंग में ऐसा था, बट नाउ इज द टाइम वेयर शी इज ट्राइंग टू एक्सप्लोर. उस वक्त भी किसी ने कहा होता कि नहीं सबा आपके लिए तो ये तो बेस्ट टाइम है, बट सबा सोचती कि भाई अभी तो नहीं, ठीक है. तो टाइम कौन सा सही है वो तो हमें भी नहीं पता है, बट हम उस चीज को अपने हिसाब से कब करना है, आई थिंक जस्ट बी पेशेंट, आई थिंक हो जाएगा.
You know, I keep hearing this a lot, and it is very important, I know, because even in our industry, I mean, you have to really be patient for that one thing to happen. You keep chasing, and you know, it's difficult.
You definitely got to do multiple things.
But patience is can be very like
best friend.
This. I think this industry especially tests your patience a lot more than any other industry. Like you mentioned, you know, you are used to taking care of yourself. Like also, I wanted to draw parallels with your character, because as your character also you're trying to find your identity, because you're shouting and you're telling that I'm a Gynac and people are not like believing it. And I feel the beginning of your career, like you mentioned, there was a point where you're like, I'm an actor, I want to do so many things, and I was just drawing that parallel, and I was like, how did you manage to like sort of like, you know, balance yourself, keep your sanity, because literally were on your own in the city, which can get lonely at times.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't have people in the industry who can
Yeah.
support you.
Yeah.
I just like it was just a thought. How did you manage those days?
So I'll say this, and I know this sounds rather cliched. So there are different reasons for being a performer. I'll call myself a performer because I'm a musician as well, and I do different things. One reason is the trappings that come with it. Which is the side effects or the benefits that come with it. A lot of people are actors for the benefits that come with it, and a lot of people are actors for being on set, getting into character, and enjoying that very process.
Correct.
The journey, that's the fun. That's the fun.
Yeah.
The eyeballs and the attention for me is not the fun. So for me, the process was also doing my plays. The process was also going to those hundreds of auditions. The process was also, waiting
Yeah.
and being patient. That was all part of the process. Yeah. And I cannot say that there was a time where I was, everyone goes through, mental
sure,
health,
yeah.
whatever, where you're questioning yourself, and, especially the lockdown kind of put lots of questions in one's head. But I think if you enjoy the journey, then you are never going to be disappointed. Then if you're not in it for the fame and the eyeballs and just the money, yes, money is good. Of course, everybody has to live.
We're not doing charity.
We're not doing charity. Yeah. But I think if you enjoy what you do, and that is your mainstay, then you are set for life.
But Saba, I mean, I'm so glad that you look at it like that, but also I feel that it's difficult to not get affected by the eyeballs, because in this industry, especially because you're in this time and age, because social media is so, like, you're constantly on social media, so it's difficult to unsee what you've seen, and sometimes it can be harsh.
Oh yeah.
And you have dealt with it.
Oh yes.
Very strongly, I must say.
Thank you.
Kudos to you. I'm not going to mention the events, but just how do you deal with all of that on daily basis? Because I know it can get really, really
so
bad.
To start with, see, I'm a very private person. When I say I'm a very private person, all the people in my life will vouch for it. I barely step out.
We have seen it.
I love being at home, and when I do step out, it's in my little cocoon, and so it was very daunting in the beginning. I will not lie.
Yeah.
It was scary, and also I felt exposed in a way I've never felt exposed. But I think you understand, and you can also empathize, and I may not relate to paparazzi culture.
Correct.
But that guy who's taking the photos also working to feed his family. Yeah? And there's some space in the market that is morbidly curious about other people's lives.
Yeah.
So he's filling that space. So he's doing his job. I'm existing, I'm doing my job. Keep your head down, do your work, and that's it. You forget about everything else is white noise. And I think it's taken me time to come to this place that everything else is white noise, because hatred is palpable. Hatred is palpable. You can't. I'm not made of stone. It hits you. You feel like shit. At days you wake up and you're like, what did I ever do to anyone? What did I do to you? Like, I'm living my life. You live yours. I wish you well. Why are you baying for my blood? But at some point you realize that you are not responsible for how other people think, and for their thoughts, and what they're projecting on you is what they're going through.
Correct.
It's not you.
Correct.
And once you realize that, peace prevails.
And I'm so glad you look at it like that, because I love reading your long posts. They're amazing. So please keep doing that.
Thanks.
I want to ask both of you as well, because on social media, again, nowadays we look for quick feedback on social media. Like, for example, this show goes on live, and within half an hour or 1 hour, you would be scrolling to see, like, how people are reacting. But that cannot be the be all and end all of reactions, because there are more audiences who are perhaps not reacting on social media, but they have loved the show. So how do you, it's become very difficult of late to decide if it's worked, how many people it has connected to, and how are they reacting to your character. Now, where do you look at? Because हमारे personal borderlines भी होते हैं. We are like, okay, if the family has said it's good, then maybe it's good. Like, you कहीं पे तो दिलासा देना पड़ता है अपने आप को. तो वो क्या borderline होता है जहाँ पे you know that okay, this is good.
अक्सर क्या होता है कि जब तक कोई प्रोडक्ट इवेंचुअली फिनिश्ड होके बन के निकलता है, तब तक हम लोग ऑलरेडी आगे निकल चुके होते हैं, हम किसी और जर्नी में होते हैं, कुछ और ही फील कर रहे होते हैं। कोई आगे कुछ बोल भी देता है ना तो अच्छा बहुत अच्छा है यार, जेन्युइनली मैं कह रहा हूँ। मेरे को उस वक्त कुछ भी नहीं फील हो रहा होता उस कैरेक्टर के लिए जब तक मैं उसकी स्किन में वापस ना चला जाऊँ।
ट्रू बिकॉज यू मूव्ड ऑन, आप दूसरे प्रोजेक्ट पे दूसरे कैरेक्टर पे काम कर रहे हो उस वक्त।
बट ये ऑब्वियसली अगर जनता को पसंद आता है और इफ दे गेट a single moment of laughter also, हमारे लिए सबसे बड़ी विक्ट्री वही है।
True. Connection, I think if you make if you strike a chord with the audience, then it's, I think, काम हो गया है हमारा वहाँ पर। I think वही matter करता है।
And I am personally really looking forward to watching this. But I have to also compliment you. I've watched your Lollapalooza performance and I was so happy. I mean, it was just so. I mean, before this, I've only heard of the fact that you've sang. I mean, you're a musician as well. But that was the stage where I literally got to see you perform, and it was so cool.
I'm so glad you came.
I want to know, between singing, dancing, and also art, being an actor, what is it that gives you the most joy?
You know, for me, all three always converged. So as I started on stage at the age of 4, and within the theatre group, there was a choir. So I was singing and acting simultaneously, and I was put into a dance class of my choosing, and I was dancing. So for me, everything went hand in hand. And when I'm on stage, like you said, you know, when I'm performing with my band, I'm actually putting on a character. I'm dancing, I'm singing, and I'm also performing. I may look like this crazy wild chick on stage, but you know, when I go back, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is me. But on stage, I'm, you know, they're like, oh, that chick is crazy, she's wild. And but you know, it's a character that I play. So it all goes hand in hand for me. Performances all kind of merges, the lines kind of blur for me. So I can't choose.
Yeah.
I like my limbs. Take one away, मैं क्या करूँगी?
No, but it's so good. I mean, the fact that you can. You're amazing at everything, and that's very rare, right?
Hey,
like, not
thanks.
everyone can do it.
I'll give it to you.
Thank you so much.
Very, very nice.
But lastly now, upcoming projects, let's talk about that. Of course, we are going to watch Who's Your Gynac on
Please watch
Amazon
Who's Your Gynac.
Mini
Please
TV
watch
for free.
Who's Your Gynac.
Free, guys,
promotion
it's
कर
free.
दिया है
Watch
already.
it.
But what are your upcoming projects like? How much of your creative instinct can be fulfilled in that? Like,
So I have 2 films in post right now, which I've completed, and they are diametrically opposite to each other. One is a biopic and about somebody, a real life biopic, a real life character, and the other one is I'm speaking French in it. So
Wow.
it's like it's completely different
Right.
from each other, and I absolutely love doing that. I have a show in post as well, which I've just finished shooting for. It's going into dub right now, which is also very different from what I've done so far. It's grittier. It's I relate to that character a lot more. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting work happening right now, which I think it's a very juicy time for me. I'm really
That's
enjoying
right,
it. As an
yeah.
actor,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
really enjoying this time.
lovely, Kunal.
Well, there's a show which is a spy thriller. I play a raw agent based out of Paris, so I speak in French, Arabic, English,
Lovely.
and Hindi in this
Paris.
show. Then there's a courtroom drama. I play a lawyer. Again, another fun, different look altogether. I actually shot for them simultaneously, so there was
lovely.
constant amount of work in managing my
Was
the
that
length of
hard?
my beard. Yeah,
It can be.
the length of the beard and all of that was a little bit of a thing.
Also,
but,
flitting between accents must have been
yeah,
mad, no?
yeah.
Lovely. Karishma.
Nothing much. I'm just focusing on Who's My Gynac as of right now, and
yeah.
just I think I'll be traveling and to more places which I really
Lovely,
love doing.
yeah.
That's all. for
She
me.
doesn't like spilling all her beans. Just letting you all know.
Yeah, she keeps it.
Yeah. Then suddenly there'll be a release in 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh, Karishma, nothing much.
Then I'll meet her and I'll be like, did you not say that you'll be traveling and like having fun? What is this? Why are we meeting? But thank you so much. I think that this is amazing and it will really pave way for more conversation and hopefully more good projects coming all of your way.
Thank
so
you.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.